There is a world all around you, filled with creations that will amaze. A world of destinations that astound. A world waiting to be explored. Come and discover the unseen world.
When you take junk and turn it into things, it becomes folk art. Hi, I'm Keith Holt, and welcome to my wacky world of Apple Valley, Hillbilly Garden, and Toyland. And it is just Hillbilly Garden without the S, because I have a van out there and I ran out of room for the S, so I go by Hillbilly Garden now. So I guess I am technically the owner, the creator, and somehow the brains of the operation. Most of the people around here just call me the nut job. Basically, Apple Valley is a folk art environment. It's what it's turned out to be, or that's what people tell me it's considered folk art, because I learned when you take junk and turn it into things, it becomes folk art. And my neighbors were just as surprised as I was. It actually has a real name. It's basically also trying to keep the flair, the old roadside attraction alive, the way the places used to look back in the 60s and 70s. I'm kind of going upon that flair. When I go to travel, I love going to places like this, and I find them fascinating. I'm not saying I get out there and wonder why the person did it. I just like the fact that it's been done. And I guess it all started because when I was a kid, my parents did travel with me a lot, and they would do a lot of stopping. And one of the places that intrigued me majorly back as a small kid, about yay high, was a place called Roadside America that's in Pennsylvania. That was a miniature village, and when you walk in as a kid, you see this village that was set up. I think the village itself was like 100 by 120 feet in diameter, and you saw the whole thing at once. And as you walked around it, you could press buttons, things came to life, moved, trains ran through it. And that's kind of what got me kind of attracted to roadside attractions. And I love abandoned stuff too, because the abandoned stuff I do find fascinating, because after experiencing this place now, on how hard it is to keep something like this going, that I do find it interesting of all these abandoned places, realizing that was someone's dream at one time, that either, they did pass away and the dream came to an end, or sometimes it's hard to keep your dream alive because you don't get enough people stopping to check out your dream. So it's kind of like, it gets to be fascinating that way, look at all these dead dreams out there.
Keith's first dream was to pursue a career in acting. So as a young man, he moved out of Kentucky and headed for the bright lights of Los Angeles.
I moved to LA to pursue acting, and spent roughly 20 years out there trying to make it. So I came from a very religious background. My parents were very strictlers, so they did not like the entertainment field, so to speak. So when we went to LA, it was kind of like I finally was able to break free and start getting involved in theater and all that good stuff. So out in LA, I did start doing plays, theater, and then eventually did a lot of stand-up comedy. Of course, I never made it.
Keith may not have made it as an actor in LA, but he did end up meeting his wife while working as a background extra. It's also where he first came up with the idea to open what would become known as Toyland.
At one point while I was living in LA, I started collecting toys because I built train layouts for people back in LA, and some did exist of A-lister actors and bigger name producers, stuff like that. I was building these layouts and started seeing all these cool collections that no one else got to enjoy but them and a few close friends were there. So I thought it was a waste of time. I thought I should be in a museum somewhere where I could enjoy it. And one day it hit me, wouldn't it be kind of cool how trains run through the toys? And then I started collecting toys, because I figured everyone could come to a Toyland and enjoy their childhood. The original vision of Toyland was going to be actually, at that time, hopefully in a 100 by 140 foot building. And it was going to be a gigantic Toyland. When you walk through there, you walk through a U-shape with all the toys surrounding you. It was going to be a big walkthrough, and then before you got into the main room, there would have been 2 rooms built side by side. And there had been like a girl's room and a boy's room, like your ultimate bedroom. So it had been your bedspreads, your curtains, your alarm clocks, toothbrushes, radios, cameras, all that other merchandising I tried to get you by as a kid. As you walk through the room, at the very end, there'll be a big picture window that comes to the ground. Part the curtain, you'd be like Peter Pan flying into Neverland. And it's set up in a way that it's supposed to be like a fantasy, Toyland fantasy, where all the toys are coming to like life around you, or the way you'd see the vision in your head when you play with the toys. Then out in the lobby area, I planned to build a tree, and then the lunch boxes would be like the leaves of the tree, and then the thermos balls would be like the apples.
He wanted to do it out in California, but we didn't have the money, and his grandmother always wanted him to have this property.
My grandparents bought the place in 1928. When they bought the place, they did buy a 2-room house, an apple orchard, and 6 acres of land. And they started selling apples and apple cider along the highway. So eventually they called the place Apple Valley. My grandma always wanted me to come back and do something with the property. And she wanted me to kind of keep my legacy of my grandfather alive. So
when his mom passed away, that gave us the opportunity to have a place to do it. He didn't want to do it, and I was all for it.
It's a different world out there. And I like the other world a lot better.
Though it took about 2 years to convince him and to get our finances together to come back here, not realizing what we were going to be in for when we did come back.
The Unseen World will be right back. Now, back to the Unseen World.
I talked to one of my friends in the Toyland dream, and then when we got back here, first of all, my stepdad wouldn't give me nor sell me his share of the property, and he was making it very hard. He did not want a tourist attraction being here, and it was kind of like before long, my baggers had actually done their little investigation of the area, seeing how well it was for a business deal, and they said this is not a good area for a tourist attraction, and they just said it's not our dream. This is your dream. We're out of here, dude. And they went back to LA, and I kind of got stuck here with no cash flow. And I was getting really depressed because even they said I should sell it and move back to LA. I didn't really have the funds to reestablish myself back in LA, and then we kind of stuck here. And plus, once I get nailed to a wall, so to speak, I do not like that. So I come out trying to fight as best as I can. And one night I'm out there working in Toyland at 2 in the morning. I walk out to head back to the house, and I got an angry neighbor and what turns out to be a sheriff deputy on our property. The sheriff deputy told me I couldn't have abandoned vehicles or white appliances on the property, and that's when I said if it's turned into art, would it be okay? And he goes, I guess so. So literally that morning, all the weirdness started, and it started with that van. I pushed up against a tree at 6 o'clock in the morning, wrote the word Hillbilly on it, not realizing it's going to cause problems with the neighbors. You know, I tore up a lot of lawnmowers on this property trying to tame the property. Of course, I had recently been to Cadillac Ranch twice, so I'm like, I see a star of a lawnmower ranch. So one of my friends called me up saying, we saw it in the Fox News Network, how in the world to convince those people are folk artists. Well, then I felt bad about my art because I didn't really consider it art. So that's when I came up with the bad pun. So all my stuff is based around a bad pun now, so I can feel comfortable with my so-called art.
The more people tried to get Keith off of his property, the more the accidental folk art environment grew. And the louder people complained, the more people came to see what all the fuss was about.
At one point, they were coming after me for public nuisance. And then literally that same week, we get a notice in the mail that we're being charged for operating the place of entertainment without internet. So I did go study the codes, and sure enough, there was a code that said the fiscal court judge does not have to grant you a license. So I figured what they're hoping I'd do was go apply for that $12 license. They would turn me down, then they could arrest me on the spot for showing the place around. That's what they took me to court over, is why I didn't have an entertainment license. That judge did find me guilty because there was a code that said if you amuse people, it is considered entertainment. He goes, I consider you amusing. So I do have to find you guilty because of this code. And then he goes, in the same paragraph, he goes, however, they showed no reason why you couldn't get an entertainment license.
Even though the folk art element of Apple Valley has garnered Keith national acclaim, he still hopes to create Toyland someday. Today, he maintains a garage inside Hillbilly Garden that houses only a small portion of his toy collection.
It actually got us free publicity because they hated it even more.
I think most of the people come around because I have here locally gone from being a public nuisance to now when they write about me in the local media, I am considered a local landmark. I do bring a lot of people in because the majority of the people that stop here are not stopping because of Marshall County. They're stopping because I'm here.
The folk art is something we weren't expecting, but honestly, that's what's made us known. So that's put us on the map, and that's a good thing. I like where it is now. I know Keith doesn't, because this is not his dream.
It's still my dream is that much bigger Toyland. I'm still hoping for that Toyland because like I said, 80% of the collection's still in that semi truck out there, and no one's getting enjoying it. As long as the toys out there, dream's still alive, there are still hope. You never know when that might come about. It does kind of wilt, and depending on how life's treating you at the time. And some days you're realizing you're probably going to kill yourself up on a 17-foot tall ladder trying to nail something to a tree.
For him, I would love to see this expand, but it would be eventually nice to get backers back in again, you know, and get what he wanted for his dream.
I do realize that, you know, once I croak, then that dream, you know, everything will be gone.
Time will tell whether Apple Valley Hillbilly Garden and Toyland will become a lasting legacy for Keith Holt, or if it will fade away, a dead dream on the American roadside. But for now,
I'm still here with doing my wacky stuff.
The Unseen World will be right back. We now return to The Unseen World.
I just started as a joke. The only people who came back here were the Audubon Society and a few of the regulars, so I just put it up as a joke for them. You know, I wanted people to beginning to stumble upon it and say, well, you know, what's this? I had no idea that it would get to this point where, you know, I'm giving interviews and getting awards and stuff like this for it. It was just something I did to keep myself busy. And it's really gone somewhere that I never expected.
Constitution Lakes Park in Atlanta holds a surprising secret for those who know where to look.
Well, I'm a self-employed carpenter, and you know, the recession hit in 2008. I kind of glided through 2009. I had a couple big jobs, but in 2010, 2011, it really started hitting home. And my son was, you know, graduated from high school, was in a trade school, and you know, I just realized, well, he's, you know, he was the focus of my life, and I'm like, you know, I need to find something else to do.
At a time when he felt the most lost, Joel Slayton found himself by creating the Doll's Head Trail in 2012.
Before I really found this trail, I was going to different parks and writing poetry and then kind of naming it after the park. And a lot of it was, you know, woe is me type stuff. I read in the paper about this park, and it was only 5 miles from my house. Up to about 100 years ago, it was a brickworks. That's where the ponds come from. It was a South River brickworks where they scoop the clay out. Those are filled in, and those are now our little ponds. That closed up about 100 years ago, and then for about 50 years, it was a fishing lakes, and then the property was abandoned. So the roads were still coming back here, so people were coming back here and dumping stuff. Automobile parts, appliance parts, bicycle parts, just all sorts of, you know, just people didn't have a trash collection back then, really, so they just dumped the stuff in the woods. So a lot of that, there's little pockets still of stuff around the park. And then I started discovering mostly started finding the little doll parts, and found the sign, and I said, well, I got an idea. The Doll's Head Trail came in my head and kind of stuck there. And I'm like, I gotta go out here and do this, or I'm gonna go nuts. And I wasn't sure if DeKalb County was how they were gonna feel about it. I said, well, if they don't like it, I'll just take it down. It was only a few pieces at the time. And then Dave Butler, who was the environmental green space manager of DeKalb County at the time, he found it and became aware of it and really fell in love with it too. And he told me, he said, we have 140 parks, Joel, in DeKalb County, and we have nothing like this.
Joel began the park in order to have something to do, but it gave him much more than just a hobby.
The park is like, it helped heal me, you know, at a time when I was at a low point in my life. Gave my mind something to do, gave my hands something to do. I would get back here, and it was like a calm would come over me, and I would be building something, and I'm like, you know, I felt like I should be doing that.
To his surprise, Joel discovered that his work had begun inspiring others to create art in the same way.
So for years, a couple years, plastic bottles and all sorts of things were showing up with little drawings on them. And after a while, I realized this is the same fella doing all this. Who is this guy? So one day I'm just a little down on the trail a little further, and here comes this guy. He's got a bucket and a backpack. He's got Sharpies and all that stuff. I'm like, you're that guy. And he's like, yeah. So ever since then, we've been kind of, compadres in this thing. And he's really stepped up and really has found some really neat stuff.
I came out here for the nature because the biodiversity here is amazing. 60 plus species of birds, all different kinds of mammals, all different kinds of reptiles and amphibians and insects. It's an amazing place. And I always dabbled in art growing up. I was a doodler in school and that sort of thing. And when I came out here and I saw that garbage was being turned into art, I figured I would contribute. I've been coming here for at least 5 years. I met Joel maybe a year or two after. I just randomly ran into him on the trail. You meet somebody in a park or in the woods, you know you've already got something in common. So, I mean, I liked him immediately, and we hit it off. And we've been doing good work here ever since. The South River's headwaters start in East Point here in Atlanta, and the South River runs by here, and this wetland is caused when the South River overflows. And so garbage from the city washes into the place and washes off the street too, into the wetland. So there's a core group of volunteers that come out here and clean the stuff up. And when we find something cool, we'll turn it into art and put it on the trail.
It's just really neat that it's something I just, created to keep my hands busy. It's really found a connection with people. And there, it just seems there's just a steady current of people coming here, and I'm just amazed at it. I pull in here on the weekend, and there'll be cars from out of state. One out of every 4 cars will be from out of state. And I talked to one lady one time. She'd come from Alabama just to see the trail, and I said, "Was it worth it?" She said, "I'm coming back with my friends next weekend." We try to clean up out here. We collect tires, we collect trash. For every piece you see on this trail, we've probably hauled 100 out of here. It's not like every piece you find out here is a jackpot. We try to get the styrofoam out of here, the tires, plastic unless it's really cool. The metal and the wood is just going to deteriorate. The bricks are here, going to be here forever. We really want to discourage people bringing stuff out here. We know you want to contribute to the trail, but you have to come out here and do the work. You have to come here and try to find the stuff. Use what's available. You may not find doll parts here, but there are other things that you can really do here. And by you bring stuff in here, we have to take it out. People take pictures of it, then it encourages more people to bring more stuff out here. And if anybody can bring anything, the point of the trail is totally lost. You're not helping when you bring stuff out here, and you're just giving the volunteers more work to do. And we know you mean well, you want to contribute, but you got to do the work. Just ask yourself, is this helping this trail, this concept, this park? By what I'm doing, can I pick up 3 pieces of trash while I'm here? Can I pull 3 pieces of privet? Can I do something while I'm here to kind of make it a little better? And it doesn't take any time. If everybody just does a little bit, then many hands meet for light work. We were doing a cemetery cleanup a while back, and this older fellow was leading it, and somebody jokingly asked. He said, he was giving a long speech, and he said, "Are there any questions?" And this guy goes, "What's the secret to life?" And he didn't miss a beat. He said, "To leave it better than you found it."
Joel has left Constitution Lakes Park better than he found it, and the Doll's Head Trail has reciprocated in kind.
The woods will always accept you. The woods, no matter what's going on in your life, nature will not judge you. They'll just come out here and put the show on for you and really inspire you to do things and really cheer you up.
Most often, people are stuck in a city, in a cubicle, in a box somewhere, and there's nothing inspiring about that. But you get out here with all this life, and that is the source.
If you'd like to visit the locations featured in today's episode, here is more information. Apple Valley Hillbilly Garden and Toyland is located just outside of Paducah, Kentucky in Calvert City. It's open year-round from 8 a.m. until dusk and is free to visit. Doll's Head Trail is located inside Constitution Lakes Park in Atlanta, Georgia. The nature preserve is free to visit and open daily from 7 a.m. until sunset. And as the signs warn, watch out for snakes.